Just kind of an opening statement about where you see your team at heading here into week 3.
We're 1-1 going into week 3, and you're coming off of a disappointing loss where we, all credit goes to our opponent that played a very good football game. They did their system extremely well. So hats off to those guys. I mean, they played a great game. On our end, it's just you break the film down. There are a lot of things that we didn't do well. Things of individual technique, execution that had been there before that wasn't quite there, and it wasn't even close to being there this last week. So looking on that, it's always number one. It starts with me, the leadership. So I'll make sure we'll get this thing corrected. But in there we'll take responsibility of our 11-to-1 ratio, and that we'll make sure everybody understands that, hey, you got to do your job and do it well. And that at that point, you look at the statistical things. We lack turnovers, and we gave up one that in a you don't want to give up any at all, but you gave up one. And then third down conversions, they were extremely efficient, and we weren't at all. And so we weren't able to keep drives, and defensively you got to get them off third down. We had some untimely penalties. I mean, we pride ourselves on being a penalty-free team. Make sure, hey, we're really smart with that. And this is one game where I think let emotion get the best of us, whether it's the the amazing crowd, the great home environment. I mean, I couldn't hats off to our zoo. They were great, and we want them to keep coming out. And so with as many new players as we have to the program, we try to prep them and let them know, hey, this is going to be a pretty big experience at the loud stadium. And I think maybe our guys got distracted by that. I don't know, but we'll meet with them and we'll work on that, get it going. Either way, our opponent played an outstanding game. We did not play a great game at all, and so that's we'll get that corrected, and we'll get it corrected in a timely manner. So, did that open up any questions?
Sure. Was there was it part of you talked before how you have experienced players back. You're somewhat of a young team,
right? Defensively,
and
right.
Is it just kind of adjusting, to that and obviously they're a very good offensive team.
Yeah, I think your question brings it all together. Yeah. They're very good and they know what they want to do. They've been this they are now veterans in their system. I think they play very fast with their system, and they're going to run their system. So with our guys, while we have the athleticism to pace and keep up, there was the newness. I think really bit us in the butt, and where you've got to play your technique. You got to, particularly against an offense like our opponents, is that it's no different than an option offense, and that it's real discipline. You got to make sure your gap sound, and we weren't at all. We were far from gap sound. We were, we'll get that corrected. And so you got to understand is that to play and be successful on the high level, it's not necessarily this great pie in the sky formula. It is just do your job, get off the ball, D-line, do well, things are there. And then obviously, making sure the third down's big. We were low on our conversions, they were high on their conversions. That's why you look at the big discrepancy in time of possession. They had over, I think, almost 10 minutes more than we did. So those are things we can correct, those are things we will correct, and we'll continue to develop this young defensive group and help them understand exactly how we do things here.
Now, on the offensive side, especially in the second half, it looked like you moved the ball pretty well.
Yeah.
Chad, by the numbers, had a really good game.
Right.
Kirk Scobie, just talk about those two and what they were.
Yeah.
The first 2 weeks.
No, I understand that Chad and Scooby do an amazing job, and they're working very hard to help the football team. There's a lot of other guys in that offense that help to make it successful, where we have the ability to score. I know that. So when I go to bed at night, I know we have an offense that can score. Now, still offensively, we're misfiring. The first half, the way it was that. We misfired. We couldn't continue drives, and we were giving the ball back to them far too often when it comes to first half possessions. Now, defensively, we created long drives, but still, you got to be able to get them off on third down, and comes back to some real untimely penalties with roughing the passer, pass interference. These things we will all work on to get better, but collectively, it's a team loss, just like any win is a team win, and all of it starts with me. So it's it's on me first, and I'll own it, and we'll get this thing right.
And talk a little about this week's opponent. Obviously, you know a lot about Simon, and just talk a little about them and what type of year they're having.
Well, I think it bodes well for our conference and why our conference is so unique and why our conference is so tough week in and week out. Simon Fraser is the only Canadian school playing Division II NCAA football. So we get to travel across the border to Vancouver, Canada, which is a great trip for our guys. It gives the whole experience about when you're playing our league. You really get to see a lot of the country. And one thing about Simon is they have a new coach. He's got the right heart, right attitude for that program. My time of getting to know him, and from what I watch on film and through the previous history, is that those kids play pretty tough football, and they're very proud of their program, and we know that just like any GNAC context is that week in and week out, it's going to be a dogfight. So we got to get our game right, ready for it. There are no cakewalks in this league. So we'll put our work in for this opponent coming up.
Coach, kind of a two-part question here. In terms of development from week 1 to week 2, what have you seen improve? And then tagging along with that, what do you think from those improvements that you can go on a run now like you did last year?
Well, I think one thing that you want to do is yes, you have last year under your belt to show, okay, hey, you went on a run after it. But it'd be a real fallacy to say I'm going to, here we go, it's like life's linear, hey, that happened, so here we go, let's make our little run. It's like, no, what we had from week 1 to week 2 is the good carryovers is our kids will play 4 quarters. Our kids are tough, they're resilient, they're going to keep playing hard. I don't question the effort or the commitment to this team. Where we need to see a better carryover from week 1 to week 2 was in the responsibility that everybody has to do in their job and their technique. Understanding how imperative it is that they do this technique exactly right. There aren't these options of, you know what, I feel like this play, so I'll do that. No, you have to do your job extremely well every play. Otherwise, it breaks down. And we talk all the time in our program about the 11-to-1 ratio. It takes 11 people to make a play successful. It only takes one person to mess the whole thing up. And so that 11-to-1 ratio really showed through in this last week, just as it did the week before. In the previous week against West Texas to the positive, this week to the negative. So we have got a lot of football in front of us for this week. Then every week's a season here, so we're going to focus on this week. We're going to make sure we get it, maximize our practices, maximize our film time, and it really just help these young people understand how to move forward, because I think for some can fall into the mental trap of, it's like last year, and then we'll just go. No, last year is last year. This is 2015, that was 2014. Now, it's great that you have some positive reference from it all, knowing that, hey, what is possible, but the reality is life is not linear, so you can't think history will play the game for you. You've got to go and just put every single moment, every single day, and every single week, say, hey, I'm going to create a victory this week, and that's what our plans are for it, and that's what we're going to do with the staff and the program.
So as knowing what you know about this team, you've been through fall camp a couple weeks of the season. How do you think this team's going to respond when you see them at practices?
Oh, gosh, I love my guys, man. I love this team. And I love being around them. They're a bunch of amazing guys to be with. That's the thing that I'm so proud of these guys, and so they'll respond well, and the coaches will respond well. There's no doubt we'll get going. We'll get after this deal. The way we practice, the brotherhood here, we've set ourselves up to understand is that who we are as a program transcends the winning and losing. That is a data point to us. And now we're going to be humble enough and have enough mental grit to say, hey, okay, let's reflect honestly about this. We're trying to train up champions for life here. So if you can take this moment and opportunity to really teach them life, that's the golden key. That's exciting stuff. That's going to help us win as a program. That's going to help them win continually in life after football. So this is where we're going to go and say, hey, we're going to get after it this day. Our kids will respond. They'll own what they need to own. There's a humility in our team and a hunger in our team to say, you know what, let's take this brotherhood and let's move it forward all the more.
And then going back to the offense, I think you touched on it when you were talking about Chad and Kurt, but there were two different 100-yard receivers in Saturday's game. Chad had, I think, 8 different targets that he had receptions to. So you've got a variety of playmakers on offense. Where do you see the biggest strengths of your offense, and what areas can that group still improve?
Well, as I anticipated, the passing game is really strong this year because of Chad's ability, because of our receivers and their veteran. That's a veteran group there in receiving corps. So with that, I really look at our offense as probably the most balanced it's been in quite a few years. The passing game is a real threat for us. If you load the box like you did last year, it's going to expose you. And so you have to play a balanced game defensively against us. And I think right now with Scooby being able to kind of come into his own of understanding the system, we and the whole running back core is starting to figure out what we have to do. I think you're looking at the offense will continue to get more and more prolific, because we can score points, and so that's something where it's real positive moving forward. And I know this is all 3 phases, the DNA's there. It's just training it up, and as you go through, every season, as I kind of review and look back, it's those key moments that you're always trying to find about, hey, well, your team had to really see themselves, the man in the mirror. And I think this is one of those key moments, and we'll make sure we maximize it.